But I'm so glad I didn't put him in his
That's great.
drumming shoes. That would have probably been not a cool thing.
Mm.
But he was really a funny guy, but he would tell the same joke over and over and over.
Yeah, every tour we heard the same jokes, but we politely listened, because he was a good guy.
Are
He
you
was
gonna
the
share
most-
it?
Huh?
Are you gonna share it?
He was the most professional
Yeah.
of I mean, well, he's down there, it's time to leave at 8:30 in the morning, he's there, he's got his stuff, he's ready to go. And very professional. But he and Rob butt heads like this. Oh, I mean, those two guys did not get along. But that's it. 'Cause-
Why did Rob leave the original version of Red?
Well, it was an interesting story, because Rob wanted to be a screenplay writer. That was his love, and he came into Bread kind of using music as a way to get into movies and screenplays. And so he teamed up with James, and James would write the music, and Rob would usually do the lyrics, and they wrote some really good stuff together. But all of this was kind of so Rob could get himself into a position where he could get into the screenplay writing. So he wasn't a pure musician, and we had to teach him everything by rote, note by note by note. And so it was difficult for him. And then on stage, he had to memorize everything. And if he got something happened, it would throw him off. It took him a long time to get back, because he wasn't a pure musician to pick up where he left off. So then he and Mike weren't getting along real great. And Rob was kind of getting pretty cranky to work with amongst the group. And I thought, he's struggling on stage. We need a true musician that can solo. And Rob can still write with James. So Rob's not getting hurt if he still is a songwriter and participating in half the Bread songs. But if we can get somebody in there like a Larry Knechtel that can solo and play and do a lot of stuff, it'll strengthen the band. I didn't think we would make it past the second album if we had to stay with Mike and James and Larry and myself. 'Cause
Did Larry come in right as Rob left?
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
so-
that was the plan, and
Okay.
Elektra said that they would give Rob a couple of points, a little royalty. If he'll lead, let Larry come in, he can still write with James, no harm done, but we'll have a stronger musical band. And
That was right after On the Waters, right?
yeah, and it was a smart move, because we were really struggling on stage. I mean, because other bands, we were opening for Santana, and they were blowing us off the stage. I mean, you got to be pretty good. And James played well, but he didn't solo particularly well. He was a great rhythm player, a great singer. So we're lacking a guy. We need somebody.
You soloed sometimes, didn't you?
Yeah, but I'm not great at it either. Songwriting was always my strength, and I play well enough on guitar.
I've seen you let loose a few times.
Yeah, I play the old Chuck Berry stuff I could
Yeah.
do.
How did you get Larry to leave session work and come on the road?
Well, I had to work on him a little bit. But he and I were like this,
Oh, I see.
because I had met him, this is crazy, why, I don't know, but when Dwayne Eddy was recording his guitar albums, and it was just 4 pieces, RCA Victor hired me to arrange a Dwayne Eddy album. So what am I gonna do? Write out parts for bass, guitar? I mean, there was no strings, there's no horns, I don't know what I'm doing there. But I met Larry, because Larry was Dwayne's keyboard player. And we hit it off right away. He loves the country and cattle ranching and all the stuff that I liked in music. And so we became buddies, and when Rob was gonna depart, Larry was the right guy to get. And he was, the Wrecking Crew was kind of running their course. They were getting near the end of it. A lot of people were recording at home now and becoming self-contained groups. And I think he was ready for kind of a little more steady gig.
Yeah.
So,
Well, one of the things about Larry I found that he doesn't really get a lot of credit for. He actually was the bass player on the first Doors album. He played bass on that first album, kind of uncredited.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember him saying anything about it, but
Space.
excellent bass player.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
He lived around here towards the end of his life.
Yeah, Spokane.
He lived
Yeah.
in
Falls.
Maple Falls. He had a Maple Falls, 80 acres for years and years and years.
Tell him about the guy with the 10, that bought 10 acres of his, how
yeah.
small the world is.
Yeah, I ran across a guy the other day, it's a forester. And he lives in Maple Falls on 10 acres that used to be Larry's 80-acre place. They busted it into 10-acre pieces.
Isn't that a small
Yeah.
world?
But his primary home was in North Hollywood. And we were in Los Angeles at the time. This is a small, silly story, but we had some horses and we'd horse trailer around, and there was a guy in Linden, that's up just by the Canadian border, who made wonderful aluminum custom horse trailers. And Larry just lived about 10 miles away. And I said, Larry, this guy's making me a horse trailer, and you drive back and forth to LA up to Linden all the time. Will you drive that horse trailer down for me? He says, yeah, if I can fill it with firewood. So he filled it with firewood because he wanted firewood from his ranch down in his home in Los Angeles. He was really proud. He'd cut his own firewood. But I didn't know Larry was ill or with any kind of heart trouble at all. I mean, I was the most shocked. Somebody else called and told me Larry had passed away. I had no idea because he was out, robust, healthy, mountain man all the time. I was a real surprise.
What about Mike? Was that right away, or was that coming for some time?
You know, it's a funny thing about Mike. When we got together for the reunion tour, 1995, 1996, he didn't look well to me. I didn't say anything to him, but he didn't look really well. He was a very sedentary guy. He didn't exercise at all. He didn't walk much. He just sat a lot.
But he loved to cook.
But he loved to cook, and so he's very not much exercise. And you know, he had colon cancer. Is what got him. It spread. And I swear, if I could have got him to get out and exercise, we tried to get him to go do some stuff with us.
Yeah.
We went on a thing in South Africa. We went on one of those safari parks. And we couldn't get Mike to go. I just think if he'd been a little bit more athletic or something, it would have not affected him the way it did. But he was healthy all the time. He looked good just until he got that illness. James smoked his whole life. So him getting the lung cancer is not a shock. I mean, we talked about it. He probably knew that something was going to catch him one of these days. But
So when you did your first solo album, were any of the songs, like you were talking about earlier, about Cloud Suite, were there bred versions of those songs that you recorded that just didn't feel right about?
okay, if I understand your question, are you saying
Did Brad do
some
versions?
songs on the first album I didn't record with Brad because I didn't feel they were right for Brad?
No, your first solo album.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah,
Well,
The
like
answer
the
is
Cloud
no.
Suite, I was
Yeah.
telling you, the Cloud Suite I had
yeah.
while we were still, Brett was together,
Did you
but I
change
didn't
it?
think I could have done that
Oh, okay.
because it wasn't appropriate for a group.
Okay.
So, you know, a couple, three of those I had held back because I just didn't think they were right.
Okay.
But they'd be good for solo artists. Matter of fact, Rob didn't want me to do Diary on the Brett album. He thought that was too much of a solo artist kind of a thing. It's not really a group effort. And so I said, I understand what you're talking about, but I said, we need some good songs here, and this is a good song, and it's not quite a group song, there's no harmony. And that happened with Make It With You too, because the first album, if you go back and listen to it, that was the direction we were going, lots of harmonies, and lots of good stuff in there, but we didn't get a hit record out of it. And so we started the second album, and I told Jim and Rob, I said, you know, if we don't get something going on the second album, I'm going to have to quit because, you know, I got a family to feed and I'm doing good as an arranger. So I wrote Make It With You, which isn't really a harmony song. There's a harmony in it, a couple of spots. But the label liked it and they wanted it out.
Solid album.
It was a good album, and we had a lot of songs later that had lots of harmony in it,
Mhm.
tons of stuff. But we weren't successful. We thought we were going to be Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Yeah.
Which
But
is,
you're so much better looking.
well, now, I don't know, Crosby might argue that.
Hasn't looked in the mirror
That's the
lately.
song.
But, so our success came kind of from a different direction than we expected. We thought it was going to be those
Yeah.
Dismal Day and Anyway You Want Me and all those harmony things. So you never know. You just keep putting them out until something hits.
Hey David, talking about Diary, when you were writing this song, you know, the lyric twist that happens in the last verse.
Yeah, very
Did
cool.
you have that in mind when you first started the song, or did it just unveil itself? as you wrote
It unveiled
Is
itself.
that right? Because that what makes that whole song, it's a surprise twist.
Yeah, and you know, it's, I kind of surprised myself even. Because you get to that point and you say, oh, here I can go down road A or road B.
Right.
And the twist seemed neat.
So it's
And,
not autobiographical, like you said?
No, but you know.
No, and neither is Aubrey. My friends
Yeah.
called me, are you guys getting a divorce?
Oh.
Is there another woman in David's life?
No, but the diary thing, you know.
Maybe
it's-
it was about Sandy.
It
Bryant.
was, yeah, it was